Hello there. Recently, I decided to go for the Grand Theft Auto 5 Platinum Trophy again. But unfortunately, the PlayStation 3 version of the game cannot be platinumed legitimately. There are workarounds, but they're not considered legit. That means I'm gonna have to start on the PlayStation 4 version and do everything from scratch. GTA 5 is quite a long game to get all the trophies in, and that's purely because of the online component of the game. So the first order of business would be to do Grand Theft Auto Online, since that's the part that will take the most amount of time and the most amount of effort. Of course, since I'm only interested in the trophies, this will be much more straightforward. I basically just need to reach level 100 and then do a load of miscellaneous things over the course of the whole game. Most of the online trophies will come naturally as you progress through, but there's a few that might need some special attention. Namely, the trophies Backseat Driver, Unnatural Selection, Enjoy Your Stay, and Numero Uno. For Backseat Driver, you just need to guide your rally partner to victory while you're in the passenger seat, and you need a minimum of 4 people in a rally match. And given the fact that nobody is actually playing rallies these days, this trophy was quite elusive. Thankfully, I have a PlayStation 4, which can act as a second player for me. This will become quite useful later on. I also have a fantastic group of people who are willing to hop on for a minute and allow me to race around the prison for this trophy. Cheers, boys. And this marks the final time I will ever need more than one other person in the game. Talk about GTA Online. Unnatural Selection is the next trophy, and it's for beating Wave 10 on a survival game mode. This is obviously easier with a team, but there's not many survival players out there. So I decided to do this one solo. Not the best idea when you're low level, since obviously you can just get absolutely decimated. However, on the Boneyard map, there's a wall that you can climb up. And it just so happens that when you're up there, the enemies can't hit you. And if you jiggle around on the wall a bit, the enemies come out of hiding and they tend to come towards you as well. So that obviously makes this trophy 1,000 times easier. For the Enjoy Your Stay trophy, you just need to participate in everything the game has to offer. That sounds quite grandiose, but thankfully these trophies were made when this was on the PlayStation 3 version, so you only need to do the base game things back from 2013. So all you need to really do is find yourself a friend, I'm using myself, and play some darts and some golf, go to the shooting range, do some arm wrestling, tennis, things of that nature, mini games. We all love mini games. As for Numero Uno, well, this trophy, it has a lot of requirements and is essentially the big one that you earn after everything else has been done. Numero Uno requires you to be first in basically every single event. If you want to do this, you will need a friend. Once again, I'm using myself. I invited myself into the game with myself, and then I played with myself, and it's very handy having that extra console. So if you're ever upgrading to a PlayStation 5, do not sell your PlayStation 4. It still has its uses. So after I was done playing with myself, I was first in every single event in the game. It's quite a long checklist of things, but we got there in the end. Apparently this trophy is quite glitchy as well, and I didn't have any problems, so lucky me, I suppose. So after I've done all of those things, the game is basically plain sailing. All I really need to do is reach level 100 and do some other random things around the map. Things you'll probably end up doing just as you play, But the game isn't as it was. I played the game a long time ago, back in like 2013. If I'm going to reach level 100, I might as well have some fun doing it. So I decided to see what things have been added since those PS3 days. Back in my day, when I played GTA Online, there was basically nothing to do besides missions, and they were incredibly slow. Apart from maybe Rooftop Rumble. Anyone remember that? Anyone remember doing Rooftop Rumble? Thankfully, in 2023, there's much more to be done. My first order of business was to buy a business, but to buy a business, I needed a bit of starting cash. Now, the cash I got from the trophy boosting was decent, but it wasn't enough to get anything just yet. Recently though, Rockstar has added the taxi company into the game, and whilst the money isn't spectacular, it ended up being enough for me to go off and buy myself an MC clubhouse. MCs are definitely quite weak in terms of money and experience, but when you've got nothing going for you, then they're definitely a nice way to boost your money up. After I'd delivered a few bikes, I decided to get myself a nightclub. The nightclub is like super easy money, very AFK, you get like 50 grand every 50 minutes for pretty much doing nothing, and you can get like 10 grand every so often just by doing the little missions that pop up in the club. The club also allows you to sell stuff from your MC Clubhouse businesses. You can make quite a bit of money this way. With all that combined, I was able to get myself an agency, and this was huge. Getting the agency allowed me to do the payphone hits, which give like 85 grand per kill, along with the Dr. Dre set of missions, which each pay out like 100 grand per completion, and then there's the big 1 million payout at the end. Huge! That also led me onto buying the arcade, which is another sort of passive income, money for nothing pretty much. And inside of the arcade you can get the control terminal, and with that control terminal you can launch any of your missions and restock any of your businesses from there all in one without having to go to the location. It's a nice upgrade. And then came the acid lab, the bunker, and the Kosatka. Everything, it had to all be purchased. There's loads and loads and loads to be done. I mean, I could sit here all day and saying I got this and I got that and I got this, that and the other, but if you've ever played GTA Online, then you know how this works. You buy a business, you stock a business, you wait for it to do its thing, then you do the mission or collect the money. But the thing is, I'm not interested in the GTA Online money scene. A lot of people seem to be, but I'm not. The only thing I needed the money for was to buy everything because, ultimately my goal is to reach level 100. And admittedly, these businesses don't grant too much experience in themselves, but you're always running from one business to another and then back again, so it all adds up eventually. Along with the Cayo Perico heist, of course. I like to watch videos on the game I'm currently platinum trophying, and it's nice to see that the GTA Online community is still thriving and doing quite well. And of course, it's always useful for me to get some insight and some tips and tricks from people who actively play the game. I used a few of these methods and yeah, they're alright, they do good, but you don't want to be sat there being bored. So, you know what I mean? You want to actually play the game. You got a game, you want to play the game. So you don't want to do these tricks that you have to sit there for 20 hours flipping a car. You know what I mean? You want to do something. So I decided, because it was double money and double RP during this time, I would sit there and do nothing. This was the Arena Wars event. Basically, I could invite myself into Arena War, go AFK after hitting the little ball over the marker, and I would gain a lot of levels and a lot of money for doing nothing. This was a huge boost and was mostly AFK. I mean, reaching level 100 is a huge task, and this is like the final trophy that basically anyone needs. There was also some like double money and RP missions coming in with the new business that was just added, which is the Acid Lab. And with the Acid Lab comes a new little story they've got going on. And I'm not a big fan of that Dax character, since he's just really loud, and that's not really my style. But, there is a lovely woman in this area who tickles my fancy. So if there's any muscular women out there, could you just once I reached level 100, I had a little victory dance in the toilet, and then I moved on to single player. It's quite weird coming from the online to the story mode after seeing all the stuff that the online had added. It's a shame I can't just spawn my car right next to me. The only thing you need to really focus on in story mode would be the gold medals. Basically, you just need to do some challenges. Now unfortunately, these challenges aren't shown until you finish the missions, but of course you could just Google what the mission is and find the challenge. And then you just try and go for the challenge on your first go, which of course will cut down on the replays. However, you'll still end up replaying some missions regardless. I know I did. And this is the best bit, Rockstar were very kind, because you don't actually need to get a gold medal on every single mission. It's only 70 missions. So there's 69 main missions and 58 Strangers and Freaks missions. So essentially, you can just go and do the easiest and the shortest ones. There's a couple of great missions that are only a minute long, and it's a great way to boost your medals up. Then we have collectibles. GTA likes their collectibles, and there's plenty to get in this. Now I waited until pretty much the end of the game to bother with them, because some of them don't unlock until you've reached certain story missions. So from stunt jumps to alien spaceship parts, there's a lot to be collected. Thankfully, Grand Theft Auto is very popular. So there's loads and loads of resources online to help you with the collectibles. Even Rockstar themselves have a map. It's a shame it's not, in the game, but it's somewhere, I suppose. I personally used an online interactive map to tick off my collectibles. I would always highly recommend using an interactive map when it's applicable. Seeing all the icons at the very start can be, a bit daunting, because look how much I've got to do. But then as you progress, you'll start seeing less and less of these icons, and that's when it becomes encouraging. So after I've collected all of that stuff, all that was left were just the random little miscellaneous things, such as spending 15 hours in first person. Now personally, I like the idea of games that are third person and then being able to swap into first person. Assassin's Creed, listen up, alright? But this is a game based on driving and shooting, and I think you lose a big advantage when you go from third person to first person. It makes the game a lot harder in many ways, especially in a car. So instead of playing the whole game in first person, I just stared at this shark for 15 hours. Well, it was more like 5 hours, since I did hop into first person every so often, and I do like to play in first person when I'm online. So 5 hours remaining just to sit here and enjoy the shark. It's a good shark. So anyway, while we're here and I have you enjoying the shark, I'd just like to thank you very much for watching this video, and I'd like to hear if you've got the Platinum Trophy for this game as well. Especially since GTA 5 has been out for such a long time, it's had the chance to accrue tons of players. And yet, when we look at the stats on PlayStation profiles, we can see that even though yes, the game has had 1.6 million tracked players, making it the #1 game on the site, only 31,000 of them actually got the Platinum Trophy, making this platinum, by percentage, very rare indeed. I hope you have enjoyed the shark as much as I have. Speaking of sharks, I'd like to make a bit of a commentary on the current state of Rockstar. This imagery of Michael being stalked by the shark in the vast ocean represents the void we all feel from playing these hollow games. And the shark is allegorical of those at the top who encircle and want to drain us for all we're worth. Or I just wanted the screenshot to be me getting eaten by a shark. Now that the Platinum Trophy has popped, it's time for a super secret sneaky trick. Prepare yourself. Go to the PlayStation 4 version of the game. Upload your saved data to Rockstar Social Club Cloud. Go to the PlayStation 5 version of GTA 5. Import your data, and kaboom! 2 platinums for the price of 1. Even if that 1 did take me like 200 hours. But now that I'm actually playing GTA 5 in 60 FOPs, it's actually so much better. Oh my god. It's a shame you can't transfer PS5 saves to PS4, just so I could enjoy these extra frames. Oh well, maybe there'll be another GTA 5 trophy list when the PlayStation 6 comes out. Thanks very much for watching, mate. Probably see you again sometime. Hopefully. Take care.